44 beneficiaries of Sebai, a small logging and farming community in the Birima-Waini region, participated in a closeout workshop under the Inter-American Development Bank funded Sustainable Housing for the Hinterland program. Sebai, an indigenous community accessible mainly by boat, is approximately 35 miles from Port Kaituma, one of the main commercial districts in the Birima-Waini region. The community has a population of 670. Today's closeout workshop is one part of the commissioning ceremony of the full house and roof replacement subsidies. Under the project, beneficiaries either received a brand new home or had their roof replaced. Coupled with the new construction, beneficiaries also received a 400-gallon water tank and guttering to accommodate rainwater harvesting and a new sanitary block. With the provision of the new amenities, there were marked improvements in the lives of the beneficiaries. Assistant Regional Education Officer Yvonne Shelto described the project as a great initiative, one which benefited the residents immensely.
The farmers are being able to concentrate on the farming now, because there was once a time they would have to go and cut truly just to shelter the family. So now they have a roof, a shelter, water, so they're just concentrating on their farming now. So the mothers are being able to pay more attention to the children. Children are now attending school, and the family is being able to provide for the children.
Community Development Officer attached to the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Anne-Marie Simon, says the program contributed directly to the economic well-being of the community.
This project is very beneficial to the village Sebai, one of the villages in the Matakai sub-region, and that is by assisting the villagers. At first, we would have had homes that was overcrowded, where we had person up to the amount of like 21 person living in one home. Now these people would have been benefited from the project through the Ministry of Central Housing and Planning Authority, through the Ministry of Indigenous People Affairs. It assisted to improve the life of these people. Some of them now have their own homes. Also, the children could be able to study late at night. Also, the water system. At first, during the dry season, with the thatch roof, they would have not been able to accumulate the water. Now we have the zinc during the rainy season, and they try to save as much water as they could for the benefit of the household. Apart from that, the project brings some sort of income to the village, because everything was purchased directly from in the village, like the lumber, because this village is known, one of the main economic activity is lumbering, so they would have gained some amount of income. Also, persons were employed within the village. They did not bring workers from outside of the community. So it also helped by providing employment for the villagers within the village.
The selection of the beneficiaries was done with the direct involvement of the community. Explaining the beneficiary selection process is Antoinette Bennett, a senior community development facilitator with the Central Housing and Planning Authority.
So what we do is a participatory approach in terms of the selection of the beneficiaries. We receive a list from the village council first of all of the persons who are in need, and we come in and we do an interview with those persons along with other persons that we may observe as we do our walk-arounds based on their housing condition. We targeted female-headed households, single female-headed households. We dealt with persons who are disabled. Those were some of our priority cases. We had cases where the household is being run by siblings. Parents would have passed, so we targeted, those were our priority cases along with other families. Once we would have finished doing our interviews, then we rank those applicants and we bring back the list to the village council, because they know the people, so they will know who needs to benefit where and from which type of subsidies, because we were offering two subsidies, the full house subsidy as well as the roof replacement subsidy. When the village council would have gone through that list, then we presented to the community, and the residents of the community of Sebai, they had an opportunity to ensure that the persons who are on that list are persons who are really in need. So we take a participatory approach, and one that is also transparent, ensuring that we always have at least 2/3 of the council present, as well as 2/3 of the residents of the community.
Sebai Rodriguez, an engineer with the Central Housing and Planning Authority, who has responsibility for hinterland projects, said the program was a success in spite of the many challenges faced.
In the village of Sebai, we started this project without there being any mode of transportation other than in Sebai. All we had was people walking, not even a bicycle in the village, right? So getting the timber out of the forest was the major challenge for them. Everything had to be fetched on the shoulder. In the dry weather, this had to be done, but in the rainy season it worked a bit better for them, that they could have floated out into the swamps, into the creeks and then down this way. But getting it to all the beneficiaries was manual labor. So maybe 3/4 way into the program, that's when the village received a tractor, and that assisted them. So that helped to overcome that challenge of getting the materials out, and that took most of the time to get it here. We had one case, we had a boat capsizing out of the Pomeroon River, the mouth of the Pomeroon River, where that boat was taking hardware into calm water and white water, and that delayed our project. Other challenges in the actual villages would have been we have to respect our people culture, so they would have times when they would tend to the farms in both the dry weather and the rainy season. They would want to prepare the farms in the dry weather and start planting in the rainy season. So we had to give them time to do that before. We had to cater for it then in our contracts, to give them a longer duration contracts so that they can finish the project.
The program successfully addressed a number of challenges that were faced by families in the community, among them overcrowding of homes, health issues, and financial burdens. Families now have their own homes, more time to spend together, the possibility for economic development is greater, and the health of the community has improved.